It's Tuesday, January 10. In the headlines, locally, Jampro looking to bolster coffee exports. In business news, Mayberry Investments signs with Equity Capital. Regionally, CARFA helps to improve journalists' understanding of immunization and vaccines. Internationally, justice still not served for the victims of Flight PS752. And in sports, in boxing, Gervonta Tank Davis beats out Hector Louis Garcia to take the WBA Lightweight Championship of the world. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Brittany Clark. Jamaica Promotions Corporation, Jampro, is working with key stakeholders to position the country's Blue Mountain coffee as a luxury brand that will drive demand and increase exports. For the past 5 years, Jampro has partnered with the Jamaica Coffee Exporters Association, JCEA, and the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, to heighten awareness of this iconic luxury brew among indigenous coffee drinkers, as well as attract a new generation captivated by a luxury lifestyle. Maya Chung was there and has more.
Speaking at the official launch of Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Day at Devon House on Monday, January 9, Jampro Vice President for Marketing Gabriel Heron explained that Jampro is trying to accomplish something very important, which is the positioning of the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee as a luxury brand. Heron added that the aim is being able to sell at great margins and increasing demand for the product globally. He indicated that with an increase in demand and with a greater recognition of the flavor profile and the luxury component of the brand itself, it can only drive demand, hence improving exports. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Aubin Hill said that the stakeholders are celebrating the day because the Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee is special across the world. According to Minister Hill, it has gained a premium price and Japan is by far Jamaica's biggest purchaser. He said the price is not seen as prohibitive due to the quality of the Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Over the last 10 years, Jamaica has exported an average of approximately 550,000 kilograms of coffee per annum, adding that this outturn is projected to increase this year. Heron indicated that one major focus through partnership with JACRA and JCEA is to improve production elements of coffee to supply the demand. Coffee Day, which is celebrated annually on January 9, is held to commemorate the first large shipment of coffee beans to Japan on this date in 1967. The Association of Japanese Importers of Jamaican Coffee, AJIJ, proposed a motion to the Japanese government to celebrate the day each year. Approval was given on January 9, 2019, and Jamaica and Japan have been celebrating the day since. Monday's activities saw Jampro collaborating with the JCEA, JACRA, and various government ministries to demonstrate a special way in which coffee can be brewed in celebration of this auspicious occasion. The day, which is recognized in Jamaica, Japan, and other parts of the world, was celebrated this year under the theme Living the Luxury Lifestyle. For the news on PBCJ, I am Maya Chung.
The overall amount of currency in circulation at the end of December 2022 totaled $238.8 billion, the Bank of Jamaica BOJ has reported. Maya Chung has more.
The overall amount of currency in circulation at the end of December 2022 totaled $238.8 billion, the Bank of Jamaica BOJ has reported. The Bank of Jamaica says this represented an annual nominal growth of 3% compared to 19.1% at the end of December 2021. A BOJ communique on Friday, January 6, indicated that when the estimated change in the general level level of consumer prices for 2022 is considered, the currency stock in real terms is estimated to have declined for the year by 7% compared to real growth of 11% for 2021. The central bank also advised that currency in circulation during the last 10 work days of 2022 between December 19 and 30 rose by 13.7 billion. This spurred an overall 27.7 billion or 13.4% growth in the figure for the entire month compared to the outturn for November 2022. The BOJ pointed out that the figure was also higher than its 21.5 billion or 10.4% month-over-month projection for December and greater than the 11% growth recorded for the same period in 2021. Increases during this period are usually linked to heightened commercial activities and correlating expenditures associated with Christmas. The BOJ said it is anticipated that most of the currency issued during December 2022 will be redeemed in January 2023. According to the bank, for the last 5 years, net currency redemption in January averaged 76.5% of the net currency issued in the preceding month. For PBCJ News, I am Maya Chung.
Time for the business report from Danita Rodney.
Equity Capital Management Limited has announced a strategic partnership with financial advisory firm Mayberry Investments Limited as a part of their expansion plans. In their new partnership, Mayberry will arrange and structure any related financing needs for Equity Capital, its subsidiaries, and associated companies. Equity Capital Management Limited is a privately held investment firm focused on investing in private equity, public equity, and permanent capital. Over the past 3 years, Equity has invested in multiple industries like finance, healthcare, real estate, education, and digital and print media. Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Monday, January 9, the US dollar sold for an average of $153.33. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $114.17. The pound sterling traded for $185.95, and the euro sold for $162.60. In GSE trading, the GSE index declined by 4,673 points. The junior market index advanced by 3 points. The combined market index declined by 4,330 points, and the all Jamaican composite index declined by 5,923 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 115 stocks, of which 40 advanced, 61 declined, and 14 traded firm. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Blue Power Group Limited, and Caribbean Cream Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Trading firm CAC 2000 Limited, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited, and Epley 7.50% preference shares due 2024. The overall volume leaders were Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with over 4 million units, Pulse Investments Limited with over 2 million units, and JFP Limited with over 1 million units. In regional stocks, on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, 0 securities traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Goddard Enterprises Limited was the volume leader with 7,000 shares. They were followed by Epic Caribbean Property Fund Value Fund, which traded 1,000 shares. In regional business, in St. Kitts and Nevis, there is an online platform that allows persons to buy their items virtually free. SKN Newsline has the details.
BuySellSKN.com is an online classifieds platform where persons can list their products for sale or promote their services free of cost. Ashen Phillip is owner of buysellskn.com.
It's just a way it's a free classified website, similar to like Craigslist, similar to Gumtree, Kijiji, those type of websites. But basically, it's just a way for people locally to connect with one another. Let's say you had an old bike at home, where would you sell it right now? You could go on there, you could post the bike up. Other people in St. Kitts will see it. They could message you directly on through the website, through the app, and then you make the sale. So it is whatever it is. It could be for an event. It could be just to advertise your business. It could be to sell products. It's whatever you really want it for. So right now, there's a few people. So we have people on there selling land at first. Somebody sold a piece of land on there. Few people have like trucking services. Some people advertising painting. Some people advertising affiliate marketing stuff that they're doing. So it is whatever it could be,
Unlike auction or other e-commerce websites that charge a commission for sales, buysellskn.com does not charge a fee for sales made on the site.
We get paid from Google AdSense. So that's how we make money. We just get paid from people who visit the website, and that's it. We don't take any commission from any sales. We don't cut into your profit. We don't take no money from anyone. And the other way we will make money is if you wanted to pay for a banner ad on the website. You wanted to have, every listing on the website. Let's say you wanted your banner to appear on every listing. We could arrange that.
Okay.
And that's how we will make money as well. But we don't ever get involved in any sales.
There is, however, a premium service where persons can become members with a one-time fee and have their own Buy Sell SKN store. They can also purchase banner ads on the site.
In international business, U.S. stocks ended mixed on Monday as expectations that the Federal Reserve will become less aggressive with interest rate hikes were offset by lingering worries about inflation.
The Dow finished about 0.33% lower. The S&P 500 closed barely changed, while the Nasdaq rose nearly 0.33%. Investors are awaiting a speech on Tuesday from Fed Chair Jerome Powell to clarify the Fed's policy outlook. Zach Hill is head of portfolio management at Horizon Investments.
The market clearly wants to trade this peak inflation narrative. We've been looking to do that. We did that 3 times last year, and I think we're doing that again. And so, we're a little cautious to step too strongly, ahead of that, because even if we do see a bit of a reversal in the disinflationary trends, well, you could just write that off as 1 month in a blip of an overall trend that's moving in the right direction. And so, broadly speaking, as stocks rally, we think that's not compatible with what the Fed wants, which is tighter financial conditions. And so we're watching that obviously, and then looking to Powell's speech on Tuesday to see if he mentions any of the recent price action that we've seen across markets.
As for individual stocks, Tesla rose nearly 6% after the electric vehicle maker indicated longer waiting times for some versions of the Model Y in China, suggesting recent price cuts could be stoking demand. Shares of Amazon rose after Jefferies said it saw cost pressures easing for the e-commerce giant in the second half of the year. Shares of both Macy's and Lululemon Athletica fell after both retailers issued disappointing holiday quarter forecasts. S&P 500 companies are about to kick off the fourth quarter earnings season, with results from the big U.S. banks expected later this week.
In market data for oil prices were stable as the market awaited the Federal Reserve's plan for rate hikes to gauge the impact on the economy and fuel demand. Brent futures were up 7 cents to $79.72 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude rose 15 cents to $74.78. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, contends that there is no room for complacency because the COVID-19 pandemic is not over. Speaking at a training webinar for regional journalists on Thursday, January 5, CARPHA's Executive Director, Dr. Joy St. John, pointed out that the immunity levels wane and circulating Omicron subvariants are highly transmissible. She then urged the people to ensure that they are up to date with vaccination, which protects against severe illnesses, hospitalization, and death from COVID-19, and also helps to improve symptoms of long COVID. In Grenada, health officials say the Ministry of Health is closely monitoring the emerging situation in China as it relates to the recent surge in COVID-19 cases.
Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles says Grenada is keeping an eye on the recent surge in COVID-19 cases in China and some other international countries while making preparations. He said they are also keeping abreast of assessments that are being carried out at the international level. Last week, Dr. Charles participated in a high-level virtual meeting with officials from the World Health Organization to discuss the recent surge and other COVID-19 related matters.
So we continue to monitor the situation with concern as it evolves in other regions of the world, and as you mentioned, in parts of Asia, particularly China, we have seen an uptick in cases. What we would like to remind the public is that the message about COVID has not changed. All right. It is still a virus that is spread from person to person through the air and from contaminated surfaces and contaminated hands. So the measures that were used most recently to get a handle of the situation here locally are the same measures that we encourage persons to continue to follow in an effort to avoid any lasting problems.
The chief medical officer expressed deep concern, however, about fake reports that have been shared via social media, purporting that a new strain of the coronavirus, Omicron, which is 5 times more contagious than the Delta variant, is present in Grenada. Dr. Charles strongly warns against sharing false information that can harm the perception of Grenada's current status and create unnecessary fear among the population. The Ministry of Health recommends and reminds the public to only trust news from credible sources such as the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs via the Government Information Service, the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARPHA, and the Pan American Health Organization. The ministry further reminds citizens to prevent severe disease at-risk individuals are advised to get vaccinated and boosted.
COVID is going to be an ongoing concern for some time to come. What we have observed is that over time, you have the emergence of different variants of the virus. And these variants they acquire the ability to be transmitted much more easily, I should say. And they can go on to infect many individuals. No, at this time, we have not contemplated instituting any new measures that, as it relates to cross-border travel and COVID-19. So at present, no. But we still continue to encourage persons to take the opportunity, especially if you have not been infected in the past with COVID, you're concerned about your health. If you do become infected, you should take the opportunity and get vaccinated.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett-Thomas reporting.
The Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners, BAMP, is having its say on whether or not the country should follow the United States and reintroduce requirements for proof of COVID-19 vaccination for visitors upon arrival. First Vice President of BAMP, Dr. Adana Grandison, believes more surveillance data is required first before moving in that direction.
Certainly, I think we need to be guided based upon what our local data will show us before we make that decision. I wouldn't recommend that we go from anecdotal data, but we really need to see what we are doing scientifically first before we make that decision. That surveillance report really guides us, telling us, do we need to ramp up our efforts? Do we need to educate our patients a lot more? Tell them if there are certain things that they need to be aware of. Also, allow them to know if the pattern has changed from what we would typically see. All of these are things that are important. We know what's happening anecdotally on the ground, but it's always good to have that data that really supports what we are thinking and really driving the group effort, both Ministry of Health and as well as private practitioners at the hospital, everyone in the same direction, ensuring that we keep Barbados safe.
In Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is urging the population to work with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to curb crime.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is urging the population to work with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to curb crime. Speaking at a media conference on Monday, the Prime Minister said while all arms of the state must respond to curb crime, he called on the population to stop protecting criminals. He was asked to address the murders for the year thus far and the recent Sangre Grande murders on Sunday, which resulted in the shooting of 6-year-old Kylie Maloney.
Appeal to the public. If you know something, say something. The police are not magicians. Many people know who is doing what and what is going on. You could save a life. You could save this country by giving up those who have taken it upon themselves to live the life at the end of an AR-15. Those boys who are doing that, they have mothers, they have uncles, they have brothers, they have friends, they have cousins. If you know something, do the country a favor and stop protecting these criminals.
He said we must be concerned about the prevalence of guns and ammunition in this country.
I don't know if you're noticing that frequently in recent times, the bulk of those killings or the breaking through of doors involve firearms of the heavier types, the ones which came on the scene in not too distant past. And we're now seeing at crime scenes where more than one person is being hurt or killed, the prevalence of ammunition that was at one time very scarce in this country.
For families of the victims of Flight PS-762, no amount of time can fill the crushing void created when the aircraft was shot down. According to the families of these victims, after 3 years, there has been no justice nor compensation, and their wounds have not healed. We join the Global National for more.
There were 176 people on board, among them 55 Canadians and 30 permanent residents. In Toronto today, each of the photos of the casualties were named in a video tribute. And across the country, similar scenes played out. Global's Taria Isri spoke to some of the relatives who say they're frustrated by the inaction of the Canadian and Iranian governments and are using today's anniversary to push the government to act.
For the families of the victims, no amount of time can fill the crushing void.
Mentally, you feel emptiness.
Shaheen Moghadam has felt that emptiness for exactly 3 years. On January 8, 2020, he lost his wife Shakiba and their 9-year-old son Rostin when Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard shot down Flight PS-752.
I cannot sleep. Every night, I tell you, every 20 minutes maybe, sometimes, every 1 hour, I'm waking up because I hear they calling me.
They were among the 176 people who died that day, most with ties to Canada. Across the country, people gathered on the 3rd anniversary to honor the children, wives, and husbands left behind.
The person I was, to me, it looks like a different lifetime ago. I mean, it was someone else.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau attended the largest memorial in Toronto.
We are all working together at this federal level to hold the Iranian regime accountable.
Canada formally triggered a process last month to try to hold Iran accountable through binding arbitration. If the regime refuses to take part, the case could make its way to the International Court of Justice.
It's taken so long for us to get anywhere close to justice.
Kaveh Shahruz is giving legal advice to families and believes the 2020 downing and Iran's recent deadly crackdown on anti-government protests are intertwined.
People are demanding justice for a lot of the victims of Iran's regime for the past 40 years, including those that perished on the flights.
The hope is Canada will put more pressure on Iran.
List the entirety of the nefarious Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization.
In sports, boxing superstar and 5-time world champion Gervonta Tank Davis sent a sold-out crowd in Washington, the USA's capital, home happy with another memorable victory. This as he displayed his skills and then stopped featherweight champion Hector Luis Garcia in the 9th round Saturday night, headlining live on Showtime PPV from Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., in an event presented by Premier Boxing Champions. The Baltimore native Davis delighted the 19,731 fans in attendance as he methodically broke down the previously unbeaten Garcia before hurting him badly with his vaunted left hand late in the 8th round. We take a look now at highlights from the fight between Davis versus Garcia. The two were fighting for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the world. That's news on PBCJ. I'm Brittany Clark. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.